Well, as you can tell, we've got a very eclectic group from across the Upstate, which is certainly a goal of all of these sessions, and very important because this issue is important across the entire Upstate region, and we know that it's something that everybody's dealing with in different ways, and we hope today we can have some great dialogue on that subject and how it impacts local communities and the entire Upstate and the state of South Carolina. As I mentioned, these meetings are part of a collaboration between 6 partner organizations here in the Upstate, including the Appalachian Council of Governments, the Catawba Regional Council of Governments, 10 at the top, the Upper Savannah Council of Governments, Upstate Forever, and the Upstate SC Alliance. And these groups in 2010 came together and said, can we create an opportunity for our elected officials and community leaders to come together to address and talk about key issues. And we appreciate you all for being part of this, and the things that have been discussed in previous meetings have been very important, and we think this is also a very important topic. In your package, you have a summary of some of the things each of these organizations are doing. I hope you will check it out, read it, and see there's a number of events, activities. The Upstate Alliance just released their Upstate Regional Export Plan, which fits very importantly to transportation. All the COGs are all doing great things. Upstate Forever just had their annual meeting. We have an event that is being partnered by a number of these groups as part of our forum series coming up on April 9th with Ed Rendell, the former governor of the state of Pennsylvania, to talk about this issue, transportation, how do we overcome the failure to act. So I think some of the dialogue today will be very interesting for that session. So I encourage you to please check out the information in here, and again, thanks to all our partners. We also appreciate the fact that we have had a number of sponsors over the year who help us with these events, and one that has been very consistent has been Piedmont Natural Gas. And so I want to thank and recognize and bring to the podium Hank McCullough from Piedmont Natural Gas. Hank?
Thank you, Dean. And again, thanks to Max for hosting us today. I am overjoyed to see so many folks here who serve at the State House up at this event today. I mentioned to Representative Stringer that by the time you get around to Friday, we're sort of all running on fumes. And so again, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate your participation. We also appreciate the participation from all interested parties, citizens who really want to find out more about the issue of transportation and infrastructure in developing a plan for the region. Relating to Piedmont Natural Gas, we are also investing a lot of money in infrastructure. And frankly, infrastructure is a nationwide issue, whether it's roads or utilities or a number of other things, and we need to keep on thinking how we can invest strategically to make sure that we're advancing the interests of the region. We want to make sure that we're providing a safe system for our citizens, and it's really not a linear relationship. The more that our population grows, it's going to become more complex. So it's very important that we take the steps right now to at least start addressing this. So without any other comments, I would say welcome again. Thank you for letting us be part of this, and I hope you all learned something today. Thank you.
For all these sessions, we asked someone from one of our Congress or Senator's offices to give us an update. So at this time, I'm going to bring up Missy to give us a federal government update.
I'm glad it wasn't me last time. I'd rather have Cindy do that one. I just wanted to kind of cover a couple bases. I will hit transportation since that is the topic of discussion today, but I wanted to let you know what was happening this week as well as what's going to roll kind of into next week as well. I'm sure you've all heard the fiscal 16 budget was rolled out in the House on March 17th. It passed through committee on Thursday. A couple of the highlights of the budget, it balances the budget in less than 10 years, and it also helps to start paying down the debt. The cuts to spending will be $5.5 trillion. It also fully repeals Obamacare and promotes access to patient-centered healthcare reform. It encourages pro-growth tax reform. It also saves, strengthens, and secures Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. The last part is the part that you probably have heard that there was some kind of discussion on this week, which is increases to the total defense funding, which this budget is above the president's level for that. But there was an issue this week. Some of the defense hawks didn't think it was enough spending for what is needed for the sufficient running of our defense. So it passed through without increased funding, but there is a mechanism that they're going to be using within the next week to try to add some more defense budget money next week. But that's all in limbo right now. We're not quite sure exactly how that's going to turn out. The other thing, major thing that was going on this week, the immigration, the judiciary on immigration, they have marked up Congressman Gowdy's interior defense, interior enforcement bill. And this, among other things, allows state and local law enforcement to voluntarily enter into agreements with the federal law enforcement to help to enforce the immigration laws. And the bill was named after Michael Davis Jr. and Danny Oliver, who were two law enforcement officials that were killed in the line of duty by a gentleman who was in the U.S. Illegally and who had also been deported a few times. So that's important to Congressman Gowdy to get moving forward. Next week, there will be, the budget will be up for vote, so we'll see how all of that goes with the defense funding increasing or not. There will also be legislation to repeal and replace the Medicare sustainability or sustainable growth rate, which most of you know is the doc fix. And those were cuts to, let me make sure I say it right, proposed cuts to the Medicare reimbursement that were meant to bring down the cost of Medicare. And it was originally proposed in 1997, and since 2003, it's been delayed 17 times. So the bill that's on the floor next week will not fully offset, and we don't know exactly the specifics of the partial offsets. So that's going to be a big hurdle for us next week and what they're going to be talking about. So those are the main things: immigration, the Medicare, sustainable growth rate, and the budget. And then I wanted to hit on transportation just because I felt it was a good topic since we were talking about it today. In the budget, there is an attempt to reform transportation funding to shore up the Highway Trust Fund. And it's recommending giving the states more flexibility to determine what are the most important projects for their states. Right now, South Carolina is considered a donor state, and we provide more money to the trust fund than we receive. Obviously, in the budget, it doesn't lay out how those funds will be used, but we're doing some research now to see if maybe we might, how many funds, more or less, that we will get. So we'll let you guys know on that. Also, the transportation authorization bill. The House Transportation Chairman Schuster said he's focusing on getting a new bill together and getting it done before the one that's in effect now expires on May 31st. And he wants to do a multi-year bill to, instead of a short-term extension. Obviously, states and businesses cannot plan out ahead if you only have a short-term goal. So they're wanting multiple years, so more can be done. So thank you so much for letting us speak today, and always know that we're here and we'd love to answer questions. Just call our office. We'd be happy to talk to anybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.